The notification popped up on my phone at 7:34 a.m. Someone had tagged me in a Facebook post. I was in the middle of making breakfast for my daughter Emma, scrambled eggs still sizzling in the pan. I almost ignored it. Almost. But something made me click. The post was from Chil, my ex-wife's new husband. The man who'd married Jessica 6 months after our divorce. The caption read, "Tired of dealing with bitter baby daddies who can't move on. Real men pay their bills and don't harass their exes. Grow up." My face got hot. The comments were already piling up. People I didn't even know were calling me names. Jessica had liked the post. That hurt more than anything Derek wrote. I screenshot everything, my hands shaking slightly. Then I went back to the eggs, but I'd lost my appetite. Emma came downstairs, backpack already on. "Morning, Dad," she said, smiling. I smiled back, not wanting her to see my anger. Whatever was about to happen, I wouldn't let it touch her. Let me back up. My name is Marcus Webb. I'm 32 years old, and I work as an IT specialist for a mid-sized company in Denver. Nothing fancy, but it pays the bills. Jessica and I got married young, too young probably. We were both 23, fresh out of college, thinking love conquered everything. It didn't. By year 5, we were arguing about money, about her spending habits, about priorities. She wanted a bigger house, fancier vacations, designer everything. I wanted to save for Emma's college fund. The fights got worse. Then she met Derek at her office. He was everything I wasn't: tall, smooth-talking, drove a Tesla, wore expensive suits. The divorce was ugly. She took me to court for child support, which was fair. Emma deserved support. The judge calculated based on my income, and I paid every single month. Never late, never short. I had Emma every other weekend and Wednesday nights. It wasn't enough time, but it was what the court ordered. Derek moved fast. 3 months after the divorce was final, he and Jessica were Instagram official. 6 months later, they were married. Suddenly Jessica's social media was full of luxury. New furniture, spa days, fancy restaurants, weekend trips. She'd post photos from their new house, a beautiful 2-story in a gated community. The kind of place she'd always wanted. Meanwhile, I was in my modest 2-bedroom apartment, making sure Emma had everything she needed when she stayed with me. I never complained about the child support. Emma was my daughter. But I did wonder how Jessica afforded her new lifestyle. Derek claimed to be in commercial real estate. His social media showed success, business meetings, closed deals, motivational quotes about grinding. I didn't follow him, but mutual friends would mention things. After his post calling me a bitter baby daddy, I couldn't stay silent anymore. Not because my ego was hurt, but because something felt wrong. I called my lawyer, Tom Richardson. He'd handled my divorce and knew the whole messy history. Tom was in his 50s, gray at the temples, with the calm demeanor of someone who'd seen everything. "Marcus," he answered on the second ring. "I need to talk about child support," I said. "Are you having trouble paying?" he asked, concerned. "No, I pay on time every month. But Jessica's new husband just publicly accused me of not paying my bills. It's defamation, right?" Tom was quiet for a moment. "Did you screenshot it?" "Yes, everything." "Good. But Marcus, defamation cases are expensive and hard to win. Is this really worth it?" I looked at Emma's school photo on my fridge. "He's calling me a deadbeat in front of everyone. My daughter might see that someday." Tom sighed. "There might be another angle. How much are you paying in child support?" I told him the amount. "And Jessica's income?" "She works part-time at a salon now. Makes maybe $30,000 a year." Tom was quiet again, thinking. "Here's the thing. Child support is calculated based on both parents' incomes and custody arrangement. If Jessica's financial situation has significantly changed since the divorce, you might be able to request a review." "Changed how?" I asked. "Well, if she remarried someone wealthy and her household income increased substantially, that could affect the calculation. Colorado considers household income in certain circumstances." My heart started beating faster. "But wouldn't that mean I'd pay less?" "Possibly. Or it might reveal something interesting about where your child support money is actually going. When couples hide assets or misrepresent their financial situation, it can backfire spectacularly." I thought about Jessica's new house, her designer bags, the constant vacation photos. What would I need to do? File a motion for modification of child support. It triggers a financial review of both households. Everything gets examined: income, expenses, assets, debts. It's very thorough. "How thorough?" I asked. "Bank statements, tax returns, mortgage documents, everything. If there's something to find, we'll find it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Derek's post, about the comments calling me names. But more than that, I thought about Emma. She was 8 years old, smart as a whip, and deserved the truth. Not drama, not parents fighting, but the truth about where she came from and who loved her. I'd never once missed a child support payment. I had bank records proving it. Every month, like clockwork. But Derek's post made me look like a deadbeat. Why would he do that? Then it hit me. People who attack others publicly are usually hiding something themselves. It's projection, pure and simple. I'd seen it in my IT work, hackers who accused others of security breaches while running their own scams. By morning, I'd made my decision. I called Tom back. File the motion, I said. For child support modification? Yes. Let's see what comes up. Tom paused. Marcus, are you sure? This will open Pandora's box. I'm sure, I replied. If I'm doing something wrong, I want to know. And if someone else is, I want that exposed too. The motion was filed within a week. Tom worked fast. Jessica received the notification and immediately called me furious. What the hell, Marcus? You're trying to pay less for your own daughter. I'm not trying to pay less, I said calmly. I'm requesting a review based on changed circumstances. It's legal. Changed circumstances? What changed? You got remarried. Your household income increased. That's a legitimate reason for review. She was breathing hard. I could picture her pacing. This is because of Derek's post, isn't it? You're being petty. Derek publicly called me a deadbeat. I have proof I'm not. So either he lied, or there's confusion about the finances. A review will clear everything up. Jessica's voice got cold. You're going to regret this. She hung up. I sat there, my phone still warm in my hand. Maybe I would regret it. But maybe, just maybe, I'd finally get some answers. The court assigned a date for the hearing, 6 weeks away. In that time, both Jessica and I had to submit complete financial disclosures. Tax returns for the last 3 years, bank statements, pay stubs, asset lists, debt information, everything. I submitted mine within a week. I had nothing to hide. My finances were simple: salary, small savings account, retirement fund, Emma's college savings that I contributed to monthly. My apartment rent, car payment, utilities, groceries. Everything was documented and straightforward. Jessica's disclosure came in at the deadline, and even then it seemed incomplete. Tom called me after reviewing it. This is interesting, he said. What? Jessica listed her part-time salon income, about $30,000 a year like you said. But she didn't list Derek's income. Can she do that? Well, that's the thing. In Colorado, when determining child support modifications, the court can consider household income if it affects the child's standard of living. If Derek is supporting her, that matters. So what happens now? The court will request Derek's financial information too. He'll have to comply. Derek was not happy about that. I know because he made another post, vaguer this time, about crazy exes using the legal system for revenge. He didn't tag me, but everyone knew who he meant. The comments were mixed this time. Some people supported him. Others questioned why he was so defensive. One comment stood out, from someone named Rachel Torres. She wrote, "If you've got nothing to hide, why are you so worried?" Derek deleted the whole post an hour later. Tom called me that evening. Derek's lawyer filed a motion to quash the financial disclosure request. They're claiming his income isn't relevant since he's not Emma's biological father. Can they do that? They can try. But Colorado law is pretty clear. If household income affects the child's well-being, or if marital assets are being used inappropriately, it's fair game. We'll fight it. The judge denied Derek's motion. He would have to disclose his finances. That's when things got interesting. Derek's financial disclosure came in 2 weeks later, and Tom called me immediately. Marcus, sit down. I'm already sitting, I said, my stomach nodding. Derek Chil claims to make $45,000 a year. I blinked. What? That can't be right. He drives a Tesla. They live in a $500,000 house. According to his tax returns, he made $43,000 last year and $45,000 the year before. He lists his occupation as real estate consultant. Consultant? His Instagram shows him closing massive deals. Instagram isn't evidence. Tax returns are. And Marcus, here's where it gets really interesting. Their mortgage on that house? It's $2,400 a month. I did the math quickly. That's more than half his monthly income. How is that possible? That's what I'm wondering, Tom said. Even with Jessica's income, they're at about $75,000 combined. That house payment would stretch them thin. Very thin. So how are they affording it? Tom was quiet for a long moment. I don't know yet. But I'm going to find out. The court ordered a deeper financial audit. This wasn't standard, but the discrepancies were significant enough that the judge wanted clarity. A forensic accountant was assigned to review both households. Her name was Patricia Gomez, and she had a reputation for finding hidden money. She interviewed me first. I sat in her office, a small space filled with filing cabinets and spreadsheets pinned to the walls. Patricia was in her 40s, wearing glasses, her expression neutral. "Mr. Webb, walk me through your monthly expenses," she said. I did. Rent, utilities, car payment, insurance, groceries, Emma's expenses when she was with me. Everything matched my bank statements perfectly. "And you pay $1,200 in child support monthly?" "Yes, every month. I've never missed." Patricia made notes. "Do you provide anything beyond the court-ordered amount?" "I pay for Emma's extracurriculars when she's interested. Right now that's soccer. I also contribute to her college fund separately." "How much?" $200 a month. Patricia looked up. "That's not required." "I know, but she's my daughter. I want her to have opportunities." Patricia interviewed Jessica next. I wasn't there, but Tom got the details later. Jessica was defensive from the start, apparently. She insisted Derek made more than his tax returns showed. "He's building his business," she'd said. "Real estate takes time." Patricia asked about their mortgage. Jessica explained that Derek had saved money for years before they met. He'd had a good down payment. "How much was the down payment?" Patricia asked. Jessica didn't know exactly. Derek handled all that. When asked about household expenses, Jessica got vague. Derek paid for most things. She used her salon income for personal expenses. "What about the child support from Marcus?" "That goes toward Emma's needs," Jessica said. "Like what specifically?" Patricia pressed. "Clothes, school supplies, food when she's with us." Patricia made notes. Later, she told Tom that Jessica's answers didn't add up. If the child support was only for Emma, and Jessica's income was for personal expenses, and Derek's income was covering a massive mortgage, what was paying for the constant vacations, the new furniture, the luxury lifestyle? Patricia requested bank statements from both Jessica and Derek. This was where things started to unravel. Derek's personal account showed his modest salary going in, and most of it going right back out for the mortgage. But there were regular transfers from a business account. Chil Properties LLC, the account was called. Patricia requested records for that account too. Derek's lawyer fought it, claiming it was a separate business entity and not relevant. The judge disagreed. If Derek was using business funds for personal expenses, it was absolutely relevant to household income calculations. The business account records came in. Patricia called Tom, and Tom called me. "Marcus, you're not going to believe this." "What now?" I asked. Derek's business account shows regular deposits of $1,200 per month. My mouth went dry. "That's the exact amount of my child support." "Yeah," Tom said quietly. "We noticed that too." "Are you saying?" I couldn't even finish. "We're saying it appears Jessica might be depositing your child support into Derek's business account. We don't know why yet, but Patricia is digging deeper." The revelation hit me like a truck. My child support, the money meant for Emma's food, clothes, and needs, was going into Derek's business account. Why would they do that? Tom explained what Patricia had found so far. It looks like Derek has been using that $1,200 a month to supplement his mortgage payments. His actual income couldn't cover the mortgage alone, so they were using your money to make up the difference. "That's fraud," I said, my voice shaking. "It's definitely misuse of child support funds," Tom agreed. "Child support is supposed to be used for the child's direct needs, not to pay for a house that primarily benefits the adults." "Can we prove Jessica knew about this?" "That's what Patricia is working on now. If Jessica was transferring the money knowingly, she's complicit. If Derek somehow gained access to her account and did it without her knowledge, that's a different situation." I thought about all those posts, the luxury lifestyle, Derek's motivational quotes about success. It was all built on my money. The money I paid for Emma. Patricia found more. Jessica's bank records showed that every month, within days of receiving the child support deposit, she would transfer that exact amount to Derek's business account with the memo line reading, "Household contribution." It wasn't hidden. It was right there. Tom explained what this meant. Jessica was openly transferring the money. She knew exactly what she was doing. So what happens now? Patricia is compiling her report for the judge. But Marcus, this gets worse. We found something else. My stomach dropped. What? Derek's business, Chin Properties LLC? It's not really operational. There are no real estate transactions in the account. The only income is Jessica's transfers and occasional small deposits that look like they might be from his actual freelance work. But nothing significant. So his whole successful real estate career appears to be mostly fiction, or at least vastly exaggerated. I sat down hard. That house they're living in, how did they actually afford it? Tom sighed. We're still figuring that out. But Marcus, I think you need to prepare yourself. This is going to get very public very fast. The hearing was scheduled for the following week. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Emma. How would this affect her? She loved her mom. She seemed to like Derek. What would happen when the truth came out? My best friend Ryan came over the night before the hearing. He brought pizza and tried to distract me with basketball talk. You did the right thing, Ryan said. Doesn't feel like it, I admitted. Feels like I started a war. You didn't start anything. They did when they misused money meant for your daughter. He was right, but it still felt terrible. That night, Jessica called. I almost didn't answer. Marcus, her voice was different, smaller. We need to talk. The hearing is tomorrow. Let the lawyers talk. Please, she said, and I heard something that sounded like crying. I didn't know it was wrong. Derek said it was fine, that household income was household income, that it was okay to use it for the mortgage because Emma lived there too. Emma lives there part-time, I said. And a mortgage mostly benefits you and Derek, not her. Jessica was crying now, really crying. I messed up. I know I did. Derek convinced me it was okay. He said you were paying less than you should anyway, that we deserved to use it however we wanted. Something in her voice made me pause. Jessica, was this Derek's idea? She was quiet for a long moment. He said we needed the money for the house, that we couldn't afford it otherwise. He promised his business would take off and we'd pay everything back. Pay what back? He has debts, Marcus. Gambling debts. That's why his credit was bad. That's why we needed your child support to help with the mortgage. The bank wouldn't have approved us otherwise. My head was spinning. How much does he owe? I don't know exactly. He won't tell me. But people have called the house. Scary people. I felt a chill. Jessica, are you and Emma safe? I think so. Derek says he's handling it. That's not an answer. She didn't respond to that. What's going to happen at the hearing tomorrow? She finally asked. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Judge Patricia Morrison presided, a woman in her 60s with sharp eyes and no-nonsense demeanor. Jessica sat with her lawyer on one side. Derek was there too, looking angry. I sat with Tom on the other side. Patricia Gomez, the forensic accountant, was called to testify first. She presented her findings calmly and methodically. The regular deposits of child support into Jessica's account. The immediate transfers to Derek's business account. The lack of actual business activity in that account. The mortgage payments that aligned exactly with the transferred amounts. In summary, Patricia concluded, the child support funds provided by Mr. Webb were systematically diverted from their intended purpose and used to subsidize Mr. and Mrs. Chen's mortgage payments. Judge Morrison looked at Jessica. Mrs. Chen, did you make these transfers? Jessica's lawyer whispered something to her. She nodded. Yes, Your Honor. I made the transfers. And did you understand that child support funds are legally required to be used for the child's direct benefit? Jessica's voice was barely audible. I thought since Emma lived with us, the house counted as her benefit. Judge Morrison's expression didn't change. Mrs. Chun, a mortgage payment primarily builds equity for the homeowners, not the child. While housing costs can be a legitimate use of child support, diverting the entire amount to cover adult expenses is not appropriate. Did Mr. Chin advise you to make these transfers? Jessica glanced at Derek. He was staring straight ahead. He suggested it, she said quietly. He said it was legal. The judge turned to Derek. Mr. Chun, you're not a party to the child support order, but you are party to these financial arrangements. Do you have anything to say? Derek's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client believed these arrangements were appropriate household financial management. Your client isn't the one receiving child support, Judge Morrison said sharply. He has no legal right to direct how those funds are used. Then Patricia dropped the bigger bomb. She presented evidence of Derek's gambling debts, over $90,000 owed to various creditors. Some legitimate, some less so. The mortgage on the house was over-leveraged. They'd lied on the application about Derek's income. Judge Morrison reviewed the documents in silence. The courtroom was so quiet I could hear my own breathing. Finally, she looked up. This is one of the most clear-cut cases of child support misuse I've seen. Mrs. Chun, you are ordered to repay Mr. Webb the full amount of child support that was improperly diverted. Based on the records, that appears to be approximately $14,400. Jessica gasped. I felt nothing but numbness. Additionally, the judge continued, child support will be modified. Given that household funds were misused and Mr. Chen's financial situation appears precarious at best, I'm reducing Mr. Webb's monthly obligation by $300. The remaining funds must be deposited into a supervised account with documented expenses for Emma's direct benefit. Tom squeezed my shoulder. We'd won, but I didn't feel victorious. The judge wasn't finished. Mr. Chen, while you're not directly subject to this court's child support jurisdiction, I am referring this matter to the district attorney's office. Mortgage fraud and potential financial exploitation will be investigated separately. Derek's face went white. Outside the courtroom, Derek tried to approach me. Tom stepped between us. My client has nothing to say to you. Derek's voice was desperate. This is all a misunderstanding, man. I was trying to help Jessica, trying to give Emma a nice home. By stealing from her father? Tom said coldly. By lying about your income and gambling away your money? Derek had no answer. Jessica stood apart, crying. I walked over to her, against Tom's advice. Jessica, I said quietly, I'm not trying to hurt you. You just cost me $14,000, she sobbed. I cost you? You took money meant for our daughter. You let your husband use it to cover his gambling debts and mortgage fraud. She looked up, mascara running. What am I supposed to do now? Tell the truth to the DA. Cooperate fully. Show them you were manipulated. She nodded miserably. As I walked away, I felt a strange mixture of anger, sadness, and relief. The truth was finally out. But at what cost? The story hit social media within hours. Someone from the courthouse had leaked it, or maybe Derek's lawyer talked. Within a day, Derek's post calling me a bitter baby daddy was being shared everywhere with the context of what actually happened. The comments were brutal. He called you bitter while stealing your child support. This man really committed fraud and then had the audacity to post about it. The audacity is astronomical. Rachel Torres, the woman who'd commented on Derek's original post asking why he was defensive if he had nothing to hide, shared the story with the caption, "Always trust your gut. Liars scream the loudest." Derek deleted all his social media accounts within 48 hours. The motivational posts, the fake success stories, the luxury lifestyle photos all gone. Jessica's accounts went private. I didn't post anything. I didn't need to. The truth spoke for itself. But I did change my privacy settings and added a single post. Thank you to everyone who supported me. The truth always comes out. Focus on protecting children, not egos. The DA's investigation moved quickly. Derek was charged with mortgage fraud and financial exploitation. Jessica was offered immunity in exchange for full cooperation. She took the deal. She testified that Derek had convinced her the transfers were legal, that he'd told her my child support was extra money they could use however they wanted, that he'd promised his business would take off and they'd be rich. She admitted she should have questioned it, should have protected Emma's interests, but she'd wanted so badly to believe in the life Derek was selling. Derek pleaded guilty to reduced charges. He was sentenced to 18 months in prison, suspended to probation, and ordered to pay restitution. The house went into foreclosure. Jessica moved back to a small apartment with Emma. Her parents helped with rent. She was devastated, embarrassed, scared. But she was also freed from Derek's manipulation. I didn't gloat. I didn't want revenge. I just wanted stability for Emma. Emma stayed with me more after that. Jessica agreed to adjust the custody arrangement. Emma was confused at first, asking why she couldn't live in the big house anymore. I kept it simple. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes with money. Derek made some big mistakes, but Mom is working hard to fix things. Is Derek coming back? She asked. I don't think so, sweetheart. She thought about that. I like the big house, but I like your apartment too. You always have snacks. I laughed, hugging her. I'll always have snacks for you, kid. The modified child support meant I had an extra $300 a month. I put it directly into Emma's college fund. She'd need it someday. Tom called to congratulate me on the final resolution. You did good, Marcus. You stood up for yourself and your daughter. I just wanted the truth, I said. Sometimes that's enough, he replied. Jessica and I slowly rebuilt a functioning co-parenting relationship. It wasn't perfect. There was damage that would take time to heal. But we were both committed to Emma's well-being. That had to be enough. A year later, things were stable. Emma was thriving, splitting time between both parents more equally. Jessica worked full-time at the salon now, managing her own finances carefully. She apologized to me multiple times. I accepted, not because I forgot, but because holding on to anger was exhausting. Derek's probation kept him away from Jessica and Emma. He moved back to California. I never heard from him again. My social media stayed quiet. I didn't need validation from strangers anymore. The people who mattered knew the truth. On Emma's 9th birthday, both Jessica and I attended her party. We were civil, even friendly. Emma blew out her candles, surrounded by friends. Later, she hugged me tight. "Thanks for always being here, Dad." Those words meant more than any court victory, more than any social media vindication. Being her father was the only thing that truly mattered. Derek had called me bitter, but I'd never been bitter. Just a father protecting his daughter. And in the end, that's exactly what I did. The truth came out, justice was served, and Emma was safe. Sometimes the good guys do win. Not because they're perfect, but because they don't give up.